Any views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the journalists and guests are solely that of the journalists and guests and do not reflect the views, opinion, policies, or positions of Positive Lifestyle Management. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Good evening. How you all doing today? It's a beautiful day. We got a lot of work that we're going to do, and we're going to have a awareness session. Our awareness session would be understanding your local government. That's where we at today. We understanding our local government and how the local government works. For so long, we always hear that the government isn't for us. Politics is what got us in the position that we in today. But I'm here to tell you different. Our lack of understanding and engagement in politics has us where we are today. Also, our politics with the civil rights civil rights movement, all the legislation was put through, slavery, all that stuff that came through politics of the 13th Amendment and all this that come through politics. The small gains that we have gained in America came through politics. All the things that we don't have today, and we look at other communities and see what they have, it came through their understanding of politics. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to take a read. And my reading is going to come from the blueprint of a new concept. I'm going to be reading from the blueprint of a new concept, and I'm going to be reading from page 23. For those of you who have a copy of the original book printed version of From Gangster Disciples to Growth and Development, the blueprint, we're going to be reading from page 25. And what it says is, the vision dictates that we learn the political processes of our communities and become involved to the extent of having a voice in our destiny. Once again, it says the vision dictates that we learn the political processes of our communities and become involved to the extent of having a voice in our destiny. And what is having a voice in our destiny? What is politics? They say getting involved in the political processes. So that means it's a process of things that we have to learn and know. And we're going to be dealing with this all year so that we can have a voice in our destiny in 2024. Now, politics. Politics is the science of who get what, when, where, and most importantly, how. How we get it. So we're going to be focusing on, there's three uh, areas of government that we can focus on. We're going to focus on the local government, state government, and federal government. But today, we're going to be focusing strictly on local government. We're going to focus on local government today. And we're going to ask, and the first thing that we have to ask ourselves, what is local government? What is local government? The definition of local government is the government of a town, city, or county. Towns, cities, and counties exist as divisions within a state. So you have a state, and within that state, you got counties. Within those counties, you have cities, towns, and villages within that county. In other words, local government is subordinate to both the state and federal government. Local government are the governments that ordinary peoples have the most direct control over. Let me say that one more time. Local governments are the governments that ordinary peoples have the most direct control over. This is due to the fact that communities have much smaller population than states or counties. All right, think about this here. Think about your neighborhood. Think about the community that you grew up in. If you come from a major metropolitan city, just say Chicago, for instance, you come up in a ward. There are 50 wards in Chicago, and each ward in Chicago average 60,000 people. So if you take 60,000 people times 50, that's going to give you 3 million. So that means roughly maybe 2.8, 2.9, up to 3 million. That's how many people are in the city of Chicago. All right. In those wards, you have precinct captains, you have aldermen. There are 50 aldermen. And the aldermen makes up the city, the legislative branch on the local level. The mayor is the head of the city. Now, here's the question. What does the local government do? Local governments are responsible for the day-to-day activities of the community. Here are some of the local government's responsibilities. Running the police department. Look at the police department in your community. Look at it. Look at the police department. This is what the local government does. Running the local schools. Running the trash collection services. Running the fire department. Issuing and collecting property taxes. Animal control. Passing ordinance, local laws. Plowing snow if you stay in a cold city, cold environment. Maintaining roads. Responsibilities also shared with state governments. Zoning properties. Issuing certain types of licenses and permits. Maintaining the parks, beaches, and other public spaces. Running municipal utilities. That means gas, lights, water. And running your libraries. So they running your schools, they running your libraries, they running the police department, they running your trash service, they running your animal control, they running your zone, they zoning your properties, they issuing permits and licenses, they run your parks, your beaches, and other public spaces. Now, do y'all see how much control local government has? Now, let's look and see how the community is affected by your local governments. When local governments actively involve residents in local decision-making processes, they gain invaluable new knowledge and perspectives from community members. This inclusivity ensures that policies are tailored to the real needs of the community and address any concerns the public may have regarding their community. Let me read this one more time. When local governments actively involve residents in local decision-making processes, they gain invaluable new knowledge and perspectives from community members. This inclusivity ensures that policies are tailored to the real needs of the community and address any concerns the public may have regarding their community. Mm. Strong community engagement aims to help local governments make better informed decisions and provide improved municipal services to residents. By making efforts to improve community engagement, such as involving the public in decision making, your local government is able to help create a cohesive community culture and share community visions. Improved community engagement creates various better outcome for city officials and community members alike. As streamlined communications between residents and their government leaders creates a more clear path for elected officials to learn better ways to improve the community. Now, there's a struggle that the local government has. And what they have is the struggle local governments officials too often face trying to get constituents to engage in the community, local politics, and local matters can finally be deceased by us in 2024. We can do this on a local level as we see the local being involved with the local government and controlling the local governments in our community. All this deals with everything that's involved in our community, from jobs to businesses to home to the school to the libraries to the trash, the way the trash is being picked up. We supposed to have a voice in all of this here. Everything. What are the common challenges local governments face with unengaged citizens? That means that 40% apathetic vote. That means those who think that I'm not gonna vote because it ain't gonna do no good, no way. You have your most control on your local level because your voice is heard and felt the loudest and the hardest on your local level. The lack of representation of community population. Lack of community representation is one of the biggest challenges facing government officials when they attempt to improve their rates of community engagements. It can be difficult to understand the needs of different groups and cultures within your community if they are unengaged with the local government. Different groups and cultures often go unrepresented because they are unengaged with the local government. This affects decision making for policies that should be inclusive for all community members. Our lack of reputation of the community members are not getting involved. Our lack of voter turnout. When citizens are engaged, are unengaged, when the community members are unengaged in their local community and local politics, this leads to a lack of decision-making input from the general public. We are the general public. You are the general public. Our community is the general public. When citizens don't show up to vote, their opinions about the city they live in go unvoiced. Meaning, if you don't show up to say nothing, you don't come out to vote, your opinions and your concerns go unvoiced. And the local government isn't made aware of what community improvement they should be prioritizing. The only way to mitigate this lack of voter turnout is by engaging constituents and getting them passionate about voting. Look at our community. Look at the stores in our community. Look at all the other nationalities coming into our community with bad food, bad meat, bad vegetables, no jobs. The streets aren't paved, trash everywhere. Look at the trash in your community. That comes from us not being involved in the local government. That comes from us not having a voice on who we are sending to the city to represent us. We control the local government. We control our communities. But we have to hold ourselves responsible. We just can't look and say, okay, we all have we have those who have initiatives, and they saying they not giving a vote to no politicians until the politicians do XYZ. Okay, that sounds all well and good. But what alternatives do you have to get your initiative heard? If you're not going to vote for this person and you are getting other people's not to vote for that person, that means the less votes that you give this person and there's nothing else to replace this person is going to still be in office. It's just that you are silencing your own voice. We have to get our own candidates. All right, let's understand this here. Let's look at this from a street level. Look at all these communities. Look at all these cities. Look at all these villages. Look at all these towns. Most of these cities and towns are controlled by who? Those who are in the streets. Our parents, our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, our aunts, our friends, us. We control the voting. We are a voting block. BLOC. We are a voting block. But if we're not using our voting block to put our own peoples in there, we can put our own peoples in there. Look at these cities. Look at these towns. Most of these towns are controlled by those who look just like us or who are in the same predicament as us. So therefore, if we all come together and get engaged in what is going on in the community and get engaged in the person that we are sending to represent us, because we have the most control over our local governments. The only way to mitigate this lack of voter turnout is, once again, is about engaging the constituents to get out to vote.